Ladies and gentlemen, joining us for the first time on air, right here on LA On Air with Bray J, our good friends Cornbread, Lunchbox, and Lynch of Front Row LC Productions. Is that better?
Sounds great.
Beautiful.
Okay. Lynch, the hesitation is just...
And Lynch.
Right.
This
Exactly. He gets it. I love it. Martika, of course, joining us as well. Hello.
Howdy.
All right, so an honor to have you guys on. I think we've been talking for about a week and a half now. No. Talking to you for several months, actually. And I've got to watch everything evolve. And I'm actually going to give the little backstory. Try to make it brief. Hanging out one night at Michi's, nothing else to do, and these two guys walk in. It sounds like one of those bar jokes, I know. And so I'm looking and I'm like, oh, hey. And they speak to me, and of course it's Cornbread and Lynch. And somehow or another, the conversation shifts, and I start consulting on my night off. And so because I don't normally consult when I'm off, yeah, right. I don't want to even use the word bribed on here, so maybe we should come up with another word. I was...
Persuaded?
No, I don't want to use
Given
that
a
word.
donation.
Coerced.
No,
That's a good one.
I don't know. It sounds kind of dirty.
We gave you a donation to be our friend,
Well, I was already friends with you guys.
to be our business associate. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway,
So
so
he was tricked
after
out.
being talked to,
We'll figure something.
Let's just go ahead and skip a little bit. There was icing involved.
somehow or another, no plug to this place. No, I'll do it anyway. CC's Pizza, which is located right across the street. I have a little addiction, and the cinnamon rolls are amazing. Have you had them?
Nah,
No.
nah,
Well, when you look like Martika, I mean, you
We
can't
actually
eat that.
just ate there today.
When you look like you just opened up a can of worms. Long story short, Lynch goes across the street and he says, before he leaves, if I get you cinnamon rolls, will you do a few mentions about what we have coming up? And I said, I've never been,
He turned a trick.
choice word, in quotes, with food before. And I said, considering how I feel right now about CC's cinnamon rolls, I'll take you up on that offer. Next thing I know, I mean, it probably was a minute and a half tops. Now, you had to cross Ryan Street and everything. It was like the Flash. Next thing I know, sitting right in front of me at the bar of Michi's was a beautiful, warm box of CC's delicious cinnamon rolls.
I could pretty much hear the angels. Like the choir.
I heard them.
Hey,
I
you got
literally-
me a beautiful,
I heard
warm
them.
box.
There were trumpets.
And so the next thing I know, I'm eating cinnamon rolls, and they're amazing. And so Lynch looks at me and I'm like, so I'm guessing we have an understanding now. And I said, "Gersh."
I had no idea you were so shady.
And the next, I wouldn't use that word either.
He's shady. Look at him.
He's your business partner. I wouldn't say that.
I love him, but he's
You're on
very
it.
shady.
Don't say that. He's not at all. No. Anyway, so I'm listening to them, and they tell me what they're working on. They tell me that they're doing karaoke at these venues locally. And so I was really impressed. And regardless of if you would have gotten the cinnamon rolls or not, obviously I was gonna help. Considering the fact, though, that your friend here, Cornbread, just ruined everything y'all just built, I feel like we need to restart our relationship over. Y'all went to CC's today and didn't bring any gift with you? Really?
We didn't have the box this time.
I didn't ask you about a box. You went there and you didn't bring anything back? I think that's kind of rude.
The blood offering will be here soon.
I don't want blood. I just want cinnamon rolls. That's
I'll
all.
make sure it'll happen. I'll make sure it's.
We're here till 8, so let's see if y'all can
See if
make
they
it
deliver.
happen. The interview actually hits online if payment is
Once payment
delivered.
is ready,
There we go.
Services.
There we go.
Fair enough.
We normally don't do this on the show, but it's you guys, so.
Yeah, well, we know people who know.
Cornbread,
We'll make it happen.
Lunchbox, and Lynch. So, no, really, though, tell us about Front Row. Tell us how y'all got started, the concept, what y'all do now. I mean, please.
I 4 years ago, I met Lunchbox.
Were
Was it
you
4 years
Lunchbox
ago?
at the time?
Now, I've been Lunchbox for about 11 years.
He's been Lunchbox.
When were you Cornbread?
Probably after I started working with him, so I'd say about 3 years ago.
And how did you end up with Lynch?
I've been Lynch for 22 years. It's actually my name.
So did you
So-
lynch the guy that
No, it's-
made the cornbread?
See,
because
that's
he
why I was
didn't put
worried.
it in a lunchbox?
Hey, did you catch that? Boom, boom. Yeah, okay. Finish with it.
It was, he used to work at Toucans doing karaoke. And I think it was my first year in college, or most likely my first year. And I'd made friends with a bunch of theater majors, and they told me one night they always go out to Toucans for karaoke night. And that's where I met this guy. And it turns out he is in the same band fraternity that I am, Kappa Psi. And so we kind of bonded on that a little bit. He didn't realize who I was, but I'd like messed him a little bit at first. I'm sure I had my moments where I was annoying. But like I would follow him, and I would kind of always like we'd be the regular crowd there, and it became just every week we'd go see Lunchbox and hang out with them. And one night, I think it was Halloween, 3 or 4 years ago.
In one funky Halloween.
Pretty much. He asked me if I wanted to help him
Bread
run.
came to play. Okay.
He had to run a night at Michi's, and he asked me if I wanted to help him. Because at that point, I was going out. I believe I was going out to Annie's, and I would see them because I
All
know them
local
all over the place.
establishments.
All local. And I was like, yeah, sure, let me go help you with that. And I hadn't been to Annie's before. That was actually the first night. We went to Michi's. I helped him out with Michi's. We were both in costume. I think I was Waldo.
Yes, I believe you were.
I don't remember who you were.
I was Dr.
Where's
Shots.
Waldo, by the way?
How did you
Shucks.
find him?
He just called me.
Oh, is
Had a
that
phone
how
number.
it works?
It's
They
really
don't
cool.
put phones in the paper, though. I mean, it's not really possible.
Technology's crazy, man.
Yeah.
They need to make the new updated version. We gotta call them.
Maybe you just say
Well, he can't
Waldo,
find his phone
and
in the new
he
version.
like
You
waves
gotta look for
from
it
the
with a
page.
cane and a hat.
But yeah, so I worked with him at Michi's, and then he asked me if I wanted to keep helping him. Or he might have been drunk at that point, I don't know. And he needed me to help him.
Probably
So
was.
We like
I
to
went
use the
over
word inebriated. I'm not sure.
chocolate wasted.
There you go. That actually is
Chocolate
appropriate.
wasted.
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 Chocolatey wasted.
Sober +1.
So I worked at Michi's with him, and then went to Annie's and helped him do karaoke. And it was the first night I'd actually seen him use the program, if I remember, that we use for karaoke now. And it just became a weekly thing at that point. At a certain point, I'd been helping him for so long, he paid me for gas, and then at a certain point, he just paid me like half or whatever it was, and it just went from there.
That's what I'm doing wrong.
You gotta find the right person.
You
No,
guys,
I need to pay. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, so
let me
he
take
was,
some notes.
At one point, he was working with Upscale, Dave LaPointe, and those guys. And so I've always considered myself, until I started Front Row, like an intern of them, because I would always help them, and they would always let me use equipment if I needed it. And so at that point, I moved in with my friend Lynch, who I've known for a long time. We went to the governor's program at McNeese together.
Look at that smile. How can you not love it?
Yeah.
We went to the governor's program, and then we just kind of started. So we'd see each other on campus all the time. We'd hang out, and eventually we just moved in together this last September, and we started talking more and more about it. And he had the money to back it, and so he bought our first system. And eventually we became.
That was actually in April of last year.
That you talk about the system.
No, that
we
was
bought the
last
system
year.
before we
Yeah.
moved in, and so we had the equipment, and so we were like, why don't we just come up with our own company? And a name I've been throwing with Lunchbox for a while was Front Row Productions, and I just think that's like the ideal place to be in most theaters. That's the place I like to be.
Oh,
Best sound.
Now, when you say front row, obviously you mean the second tier.
Yeah.
Right, so you can kick your feet up.
Yeah, exactly. And so we just kind of went with that. I checked, like I said, I checked online to see if Front Row Productions was taken, because I've always had this thing about I don't want to have, if we ever become big and famous, God willing.
When you become.
Correct. When. I don't want to
You're
have
on our
to.
show now,
I don't
so-
want to have to redo the name.
Right.
Now that we're here.
But you did put in LC, and I'm a little concerned about that, because what if you go big tomorrow? Like,
Well, the thing about LC is that it's Lake Charles, and it also stands for my first daughter's first initials, Lily and Christine. So I figure it works for me either way.
for you, but what about these guys?
They also have to get kicking.
So-
I
so-
just thought
Lynch
of what it
Incorporated.
could
Yeah, Lynch-
stand for,
Go
but I
ahead.
don't think
Lynch-
it's
sorry.
very
Lynchbox
appropriate.
and cornbread.
We'll save
And
that
it
for
works.
later.
And it works the third way. We just discovered it. Lynchbox and cornbread. So
Anyway, so when you do make it big, which we're going to go ahead and say that now
When?
because you're on the show, you're just going to remove the LC.
Perhaps.
That's a yes.
Yes.
That's my consulting.
Front Row
Again,
Productions. I do
before
like.
8 o'clock.
I do prefer
Before 8
Front Row
o'clock.
I
Productions.
like what we do as local.
Before 8 o'clock.
I'd love to stay in this area.
And I think most people, when they refer to us as Front Row, like you did earlier. They don't add the LC in there, but that's just like a legal thing for now. But I'm sure whenever we,
Well, I think. Well, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
'cause I don't know much about it, but I just want to make sure we can separate ourselves from other companies. And back to where we all met. So like I said, he was the basically the financier. He had the money for the
And the
equipment.
smiler. He
The
is the
smile. He's got
smiler.
the smile. He's got the money. He's got
Right.
pretty much all of it. And so he bought our system, and we went from there. And we just actually got our second system recently.
Congratulations.
And we're almost done paying it off. I think maybe sort of.
And the next thing you know,
we're,
they
we're in the
will
way
be-
of paying it off.
They're going to be just the main attraction when it comes to nightlife. I mean, it's awesome.
Actually, I like Lynch's form of communication. He's
Just smiles and
very
faces.
telepathic.
It's a lot of things.
Very
Speaks a lot
telepathic.
through his face.
He is the epitome of smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. There we go. All right, so in case you want to know a little bit more about them, of course, visit them on Facebook. You have a website yet?
We do not have a website yet.
In the
I believe
works?
We are talking about it.
A professional DJ company, okay, for hire for events such as weddings, bar mitzvahs, birthday parties, karaoke nights, company parties, private events, etc. And of course, LA On Air private events. So, and of course, we're going to get back with these guys, but for now, here's more music for you on LA On Air with Bray J.